Time to extend Kong. Here are 5 ways to jump further and higher in Donkey Kong Bananza, using just the core built-in mechanics that the devs cooked in there for us platformer heads to find. There's probably at least 64 ways you could come up with to clear this simple gap, but what about just the normal jump into mid-air roll punch? No. How about rolling for a second into jump, roll punch? Nope, but closer. Here's the trick. If you tap ZL to roll and then very quickly tap jump immediately after, that uses the roll's initial momentum effect to propel you further. Follow that up with ZL in the air, then punch. This is going to be your go-to long jump that can be used pretty much anywhere, without needing to rip a chunk out of the ground. See, if you hold roll for too long, you'll start to lose some of that momentum at the very startup of the move. Momentum is a core element that affects DK's pretty much entire moveset. So again, ZL then A quickly, ZL then use X or Y to punch to extend it a bit further. Easiest way to start dipping your monkey toes in the game's deeper pool. This next one requires the spin jump unlocked, which lets you rotate the left analog stick in a full 360 to trigger a higher vertical spinning jump. If you collide this with a hard surface and immediately press the opposite direction as you clang off of it, this bounces you further with that gained momentum. It can also pinball back and forth between things, and the closer 2 hard surfaces are, the more speed you can rapidly build. Think of the things you can do with that. In some situations though, where you can't climb a tall, slippery surface, you may not want to rebound off the wall with the spin jump. There's a few ways you can cancel the spin jump out of the air though, but I prefer just tapping ZR at its peak, which can free up your hands to grab onto nearby edges. That's one of the easier ways to jump and climb higher without dabbling into taking chunks out of the ground. However, if you do rip and tear off some earth, then do that 360 analog stick into spin jump, you can use it to jump again off that piece of ground in the air. This is going to require that the jump shot skill is unlocked. In some situations where the jump shot on its own is just not high enough, the spin jump into jump shot combo goes just a bit higher, which enters our next main jump shenanigan that uses the spin jump, switches to ground surfing in the air, swings out of it, jumps off that held ground into an air roll. If you're in any place where you can rip off ground and hold it, this can be used to full effect anywhere you might need it. It covers a pretty long distance and might be easier than it looks. To break it down, get some ground in your mitts, then rotate 360 on the analog stick, jump, quickly press ZL then Y, followed by A, then ZL. There's a rhythm you get with it after you try it a few times. The freedom of movement in this game is rarely seen, and as a big fan of 3D platformers, the jump trick potential is immense and rewarding, the ideal combo. Let's say you don't have that spin jump skill unlocked yet though. There is an alternate version of this trick jump you can do without it. This uses a piece of ground to surf on, speed boost into a jump, swing, jump off that piece of ground into an aerial roll. So, when holding a piece of ground, that's ZL, Y, jump, ZL. This requires that you have a bit more of a clear run-up before the jump compared to the previous version, but it can be just as useful in most situations. Now here's an alternate way to tackle some surfaces that you can't directly climb, like this slippery iron, or in the snowy areas, this icy wall. If you throw something too dense like this stone, it'll bounce right off that iron. However, if you grab something light like grass, it'll sticky glue onto surfaces like this, creating dynamic platforms. Hold the throw input to manually aim, and you can put these where you want to essentially build your own route. Over in the cold areas, if snow is nearby, you can use that to glob into ice, which also can be used as little platforms or as a surface you can grip into and climb. Another option, you can enter co-op mode out of the pause menu, and this uses the pointer function of the Joy-Con to copy nearby material types and essentially scream them out into the world. If you don't have a quality co-op companion nearby, you can just lay a Joy-Con off to your side and use it when you need it, or hold it like a weird third trigger button while using the gyro to point. This is obviously wonky, but I'm just the ideas guy. And last, a little bonus thing to know, but if you hold the direction on the analog stick and then quickly flick in the opposite direction and jump, it'll do a backwards roll flip. But something different about this jump is that landing out of it blasts out the same sonar effect like your slap, which can highlight nearby collectibles through walls. Just another option for you. Alright, those are just some of the things I've been playing around with towards the beginning of Bananza, but let me know from you guys, what kind of movement techniques do you like to use, or have figured out? Tell the whole class. Also, I want to see some cool clips of using these jumps or that bouncing off of walls momentum effect, which I think has a lot of potential. So shoot me the clip over on X or Instagram at BoomstickAlex. I'll watch them, I'm a very not busy guy. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex, and I'll see you soon in the next one.